So forgive me if this gets a little funky, but we're so excited to talk about glycerin and glycerin as an ingredient in your beauty routine. This is Asian Beauty Essentials. My name is Lauren, and we're here to give you all the tea, specifically the beauty behind one of our favorite ingredients. We know that when you go to Sephora's or Ulta's or any other online experience, especially Amazon, it can get really confusing if a product works for your skin or not. How do you make the decision if this is going to be a product that's right? Do you follow TikTok trends? Do you follow recommendations from your friends? There's a whole host of influences that come into your life when you're determining which products make sense for you. Well, one of the things that you can be super reliant on is the ingredient themselves, because your friends, maybe someone helping at the store, an Amazon review, you never know, but like people can make things up or share things incorrectly that they don't know, which is true. So one thing I want to tell you point blank is that ingredients don't lie. There are combinations of ingredients that can be really hard for a lot of people to stay concentrated to. Oh my gosh, it can be overwhelming. And you're like, I don't know what these ingredients mean, say, or will do for my skin. So what I'm going to be going to today as a skincare enthusiast, full disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, gynecologist, or any other things that I need to give a disclaimer to. I'm just a skincare enthusiast, and I love everything that I've been learning about beauty ingredients specifically. So I'm here to give you the tea about glycerin and help you determine whether or not it's good for your skin. In this video, we're going to go over 11 reasons why and how you can use this ingredient incorporating your skincare routine. Of course, this video is brought to you by Asian Beauty Essentials, where they have over 300 different products that contain glycerin in them. A few of them we'll go into deeper today, but I really just want to specifically talk about whether or not glycerin is good for your skin. Because let's be honest, if you're a skincare rookie or a skincare enthusiast like myself, glycerin may not be one of those ingredients on your radar. You might be hearing a lot about skincare ingredients like ginseng that are coming from Korea, or snail mucin, even bird's nest for those that are like in the extreme levels of ingredients. But glycerin, you hear about it-ish, but it's not one of those like, oh yeah, like I love hyaluronic acid, or let's talk about like different vitamins and active ingredients. Like glycerin just isn't that sexy. So I'm here to tell you that like it is an ingredient that is something I'm really into and is found in a lot of ingredients. I'm talking about 300 products that is specifically on Asian Beauty Essentials and thousands of more. And so I want to give you information about the awesomeness behind this specific skincare ingredient. So when you're going through the aisles, or you're looking at your products online, or you're shopping on Asian Beauty Essentials, you can have a better understanding of what you're putting onto the largest organ of your body, because you have to be mindful of what you're putting on your face. It's going to stay on your face. It's going to seep into layers and layers and layers of your skin. So let's be honest. Let's figure out what makes sense and understand this moisturizing ingredient that's used in a lot of products like lip balms and even toners. Toners, which tend to be known as like a drying skincare product, will contain glycerin to help it not just like destroy your face and make you feel like a Walking Dead member. Anyways, not going too much crazy into this because this is our first live ever. So hello to Mom, if you're the one who's watching this right now. But like I want to tell you all about this ingredient, how it can help with hydrating your skin. It can help with the wound healing process, right? Collagen production. Who doesn't want more collagen? Let's hear it. For those that are going for an anti-aging look, we have wrinkles. I'm proud of my wrinkles. Like, look at this. I have smile lines because I've led a generally happy life. But glycerin is, when it is talked about as an ingredient, is one of the ingredients that people look at for skin whitening. If you're looking for addressing hyperpigmentation, or if you're looking for a like paler, even as far as like you're trying to get the, why can't I remember the words? I'm trying to remember every K-drama ever. What do they describe it as? Anyways, if you're looking for like an even like milky or white kind of look, it is an ingredient that does help with some skin whitening component, but more importantly, it does minimizing pores. Full disclosure, if you're looking to doing like skin whitening or skin bleaching or anything, so that's not what I'm talking about in today's video. We're going to be talking about glycerin as a skincare ingredient that's super hydrating and can help brighten your complexion. If you are using it and you're finding it in other products and you're like, I super don't want any like whitening type of ingredients because maybe you have an adverse effect to it, glycerin is one that you want to look into. You want to be aware of. I find it as a really great ingredient, especially because I want that porcelain type of skin, you know, where it's like clear and and radiant and free from blemishes. So if you're looking for an ingredient that's moisturizing, that can help radiate your skin, give it that brilliant look to it without clogging your pores, let me turn you on to glycerin. So we're going to break down the science behind glycerin as an ingredient and how you can get the best results based on your skin type. So there are 5 different skin types that we talk about. There's normal skin, dry skin, sensitive skin, combination skin, and I don't like the word normal, but normal skin, all skin types. So let's go. Glycerin in a nutshell. Some really fast facts. Glycerin is a soft humectant. Oh my gosh. Soft humectant. Okay. It's clear. It's an odorless ingredient and it's a viscous liquid. Oh my goodness. It's a viscous liquid that can have a sweet taste. It is not a vegan-friendly ingredient. It is often derived from animal fats. However, it can be made from vegetable oils. So it can sometimes be vegan-friendly, but on the erring the side of caution, assume it's not. You have to be specific and you need to know the brands that you're looking at to make sure that it's a vegan-based glycerin. But for the most part, full disclosure, it's often just default to it's likely not vegan-friendly for you. But there are going to be brands that stand out for it because glycerin is such a good product, or rather, such a good ingredient in my products. It's used in a lot of cosmetics. And of course, it's used in skincare products to retain moisture. A lot of the reasons that like our faces look tired is because they've lost balance in their moisture barrier. You want your skin to stay hydrated so that you can look like a grape rather than a raisin. And if you're looking to retain that moisture, you might find glycerin in your lotions or your creams, shampoos, conditioners, even products that are going to help you moisturize what you're trying to protect. It's also in a lot of lip balms, obviously, because we don't have any we don't have any pores on our lips that are going to provide the oil. So you have to lubricate your lips if you want to keep them moisturized. Wow, sorry. So using glycerin is generally considered to be a clean and safe ingredient to incorporate into your skincare, which is why it's used in hundreds of products. Although, like I said earlier, if you're not going into hyperpigmentation or you're not looking for any sort of brightening or whitening, like those terms get like if you're looking to increase your dull skin and give it more life, when you see the term whitening, you have to be careful because there are some skincare ingredients that are specifically trying to do whiter skin. In certain parts of the world, that is a highly desired look, right? If you're looking for that milk white skin color, people do look for bleaching creams or products that provide whitening. Glycerin can provide whitening properties, but it's more for like addressing hyperpigmentation. And when I'm talking about whitening here, I'm specifically talking about brightening your skin so you have not a dull complexion, but a brighter one. And so if you are sensitive skin and you find that whitening products or whitening ingredients can burn sometimes, just a full disclosure, like it's generally safe, clean for sure, but some people that have sensitive skin may find themselves with a slight allergic reaction. And just being honest, keeping it real. I have sensitive skin at different times throughout my cycle or throughout my life personally. So it's not one that I've had any adverse effects with, but always be err on the side of caution. Assume the glycerin in your product is not vegan friendly. And if you are sensitive skin, be mindful and always do a patch test. Well, actually, regardless of what skin type you have, patch tests are life. While a lot of the time glycerin can be extracted from plants, because it can be made synthetically in a lab, both natural and synthetic glycerin will have the same effects, right? Like, so you can have it planted from plant. Oh my goodness. Wow. This is what happens when you do it live. Glycerin can be made from plants and animal byproducts, or it can also be made synthetically in a lab. There's nothing that we have found to date that has said glycerin synthetically made has different types than a derived glycerin ingredient. So again, skincare enthusiast here to tell you all the tea, the beauty behind glycerin as an ingredient. So let's talk about how does glycerin work? Glycerin will attract water. That probably sounds like hyaluronic acid because that's what everyone hears about. Oh, hyaluronic acid holds so much times the weight of water. Well, this is what glycerin will do. It's going to draw water from the dermis, the innermost layer of your skin, and it's going to hold it and retain it and give these hydrating properties so that you will just have a stronger barrier on your face that will keep and preserve that moisture inside. So you don't want to have moisture loss. If you have moisture loss, it's a lot of times where we have dry skin, or you start to see, like blemishes from environmental aggressors, wind, pollution, you name it. There's lots of stuff that affects our face because it's our skin, and our skin is an organ. And so what glycerin will help you do is it's going to give you moisture, and it's going to create this like moisture retaining barrier to prevent moisture loss. So let's go deep into it. I promise 11 reasons that we're going to fall in love with glycerin, and I'm here to tell you all about it because it's jam-packed with amazing benefits. I promise, like, it feels like one of the ingredients that's like all in one, but no one talks about. So it's like that really super smart kid that sits in the back of the classroom that's also really cool and has like the best pool ever and is friends with everyone because he's so good at all the video games. This is what glycerin feels like because they're not the front of class. They're not the known, whatever popular kid, but I'm telling you, this kid gets all the credit. So obviously I've talked about it a lot. One, it's moisturizing. It's a moisturizing magnet. Because it's a humectant, it's going to lock moisture in your skin. When you use it in products like lotions or moisturizers, it's going to help prevent water evaporating, oh my goodness, from the skin surface, right? So you can maintain the hydration on your face or your skin for longer. Also, because it actually attracts water molecules. Wow. Hello. The duck just walked by. Okay, because it attracts water molecules, it will allow you to draw moisture from deeper layers of skin into the outer layers. Like it's going to be an excellent ingredient for both dry and oily skin types, or for those that have like cracked or parched skin, especially if you end up having like if you have combination skin and you have dry patches and stuff. Products with glycerin is going to be a really great ingredient in your arsenal of products. 2, it's going to cool down skin irritation. So we know that if you are sensitive skin, or if you're trying new products and your skin's starting to get irritated by this, what it's going to do is it's going to actually have the ability to calm and soothe your skin, especially dry skin when you apply it topically. Why? That doesn't make any sense. Like, what do you mean it's going to calm my skin down? Because, as I said earlier, it creates an extra skin barrier between your skin and the environment. Depending on where you live, whether in the United States or abroad, environmental factors are going to have damage to your face. They're going to wreak havoc on you, depending, like harsh winds, overheat, too much humidity. There's so many. If you're in a city, there could be a lot of pollution, and that's going to seep into your pores, and it's not going to be fun. But it will create that extra skin barrier to protect your skin, and that environment will prevent irritants from aggravating your skin. And it's going to also lock in that moisture. So it has been known as a ingredient to help treat those with eczema or psoriasis or whatever types of skin discomforts they have, because it will help decrease, or it can help decrease, itching, irritation, or even inflammation. So that's why you're going to find glycerin as a product in a lot of products you're looking at. And I'm here to tell you why it's good. So we'll keep going. As the environmental shield, number 3, we talked about it a little bit, because it creates that extra barrier, that skin protection barrier. It means that UV damage, pollution, or other harmful elements can be protected, which, what do those environmental factors do? They start premature aging. Boo! Insert noises for boo. Okay, so you don't want to damage your skin cells. So it's really important that you create a barrier, or you use ingredients that can help create a barrier, retain the moisture in your face, and protect you from toxins that can clog your pores, that can wreak havoc on your skin and your pores. And glycerin is one of those ingredients. 4, talked about anti-aging, but let's be clear. 4, it smooths wrinkles and fine lines. Fine lines and wrinkles happen for a variety of reasons, but can really be accelerated when your skin is not hydrated. When you have the moisturizing properties within glycerin, what it means is you can keep your skin hydrated and plump, which will lead to fewer aging signs. Therefore, we love it as an anti-aging ingredient. Remember, we want to be grapes, not raisins. 5, it's non-comedogenic, which is amazing. Glycerin's a natural byproduct, right? I mean, yes, it can be created in the lab. We already talked about that earlier, but it's a natural byproduct of soap making. So maybe that's why you heard, maybe watch Fight Club or something to that effect, but it gives soap its moisturizing properties, right? So it can do the same for your skin. Whether it's an animal byproduct or a vegetable glycerin, they're both non-comedogenic, meaning it's not going to cause your pores, and it's not going to clog your pores and cause breakouts. In fact, because it's going to draw water into the skin, keeping it with a healthy glow. It's going to help treat acne while giving you an oil-free sensation. We know that like a lot of moisturizing products, especially if you have oily skin, feels like you're shiny and you're greasier and you're like, oh my gosh, my pores need a break. Glycerin's a really good product. I mentioned at the beginning, number 6, it helps with wound healing. So, whether you have acne scarring or you're using it as ingredients on throughout your body, one of the most common uses for glycerin is that it does help heal wounds, right? So if you're applying it to a wound, what are you going to do? It's going to help create a barrier, which keeps in the moisture and keeps bacteria out. Bacteria that gets into wounds is going to fester and it's going to exasperate that wound. So glycerin, again, creates that barrier and it's going to help prevent infection, because if you just simply wash your hands and apply it to the affected area with a clean cotton ball, you're going to be able to have a little bit of a barrier connected to it. Talked about earlier, where is a common use case that you'll see glycerin in your ingredients? In lip balms and chapsticks, because it's going to help treat chapped lips. Because it's not only to help with skin moisturizing, but it can help also other surface areas like your lips. So if we have cracked skin on our lips, it can help us look old, pale, or seriously dehydrated. So if you're not trying to be an extra in the next zombie movie or on a deserted island type of show, glycerin can be a powerful hydrator for not just your skin, but for your lips. Number 8, it helps with acne. We brought it up a little bit sooner, but let's talk about it more specifically. Again, it draws water from the environment. Glycerin allows us to keep acne-prone and oily skin from drying out. Did you know that oily skin is often dehydrated and therefore dry? What will happen is, like oily skin, the pores themselves might be starving of moisture, but the top surface, your pores are large. It looks like you're actually dehydrated, but glycerin will draw water from the environment and help acne-prone and oily, dry skin from drying out. It has antimicrobial properties, which helps kill the bacteria that can cause breakouts. Not only is it helping create a barrier, but it's also having antimicrobial properties to stop the acne that or whatever has gotten into your pores from becoming larger. But of course, we talked about scars. Acne scars are a real thing. We talked about how it helps with wound healing. It also helps by increasing the water content that's actually within the scar tissue to allow a plump, smooth, and even skin tone. Number 9, it's a gentle exfoliator tool. I mean, like we're talking about, it's hydrating. It's a skin barrier protection. It helps with wound healing. It's helped with lips. It's also a gentle exfoliator. Remember, if you have sensitive skin, be mindful of this. And a lot of people that have sensitive skin don't do any exfoliation. But like what I always say is, if you're not exfoliating your skin, it's like wearing a bikini on top of a fur coat. Our skin cells recycle. So you need to get rid of that dead skin cells or you're going to suffocate the skin underneath. So whether you're using a physical exfoliator or a chemical exfoliator, you want to use something to help clear out the dry skin. If you've never used an exfoliator, start with like once a week. I use a few exfoliators and cycle into my routine depending on the time of the year and have built up my tolerance. So I can use my exfoliators 5 times a day, depending on the products, of course. But if you do have sensitive skin or you haven't used it, like glycerin's a really good ingredient because it's a gentle exfoliator. It can help improve your skin's appearance to look softer and smoother because it's going to remove the dead skin cells without stripping your face of its natural oils. So when you use toners, also toners can be dehydrating products. And it's like, oh, you want to balance your pH on your skin. You want to prep your pores to receive all the skincare goodness. You want to make sure that you have toners or exfoliators, especially if you're on the dry or sensitive skin side, that have gentle exfoliating ingredients. Number 10, it firms the skin. We talked about being anti-aging and helping plump and reduce those wrinkles. It's also going to firm your skin. It's going to improve the overall health. It is a great anti-aging ingredient. And it's also, because it's an active ingredient, it can help to tighten and firm the skin for that youthful, like dumpling looking skin. Remember, grape, not raisin. And number 11, last but not least, it's going to help you make your skin bright. I know I've talked a lot about this, but I wanted to break them up into 11 different things to be specific about why this ingredient is so awesome. So because it's going to make your skin bright, it will act as a brightening agent, especially for oily to dry skin. It's going to help even out that skin tone. It's going to help address hyperpigmentation, and it's going to help you get healthier skin. So those are my 11 favorite things about glycerin and why it can be a really good product for your skin. But we've talked about a lot of things. You're like, oh my gosh, glycerin sounds amazing. Like, what? Who can use it? What is it in? You mentioned 300 products on Asian Beauty Essentials, thousands more throughout the world. So just, who can use it? You're like, I'm in. Glycerin, count me in. Put it in my products, coach. It's a powerful moisturizing ingredient. And for those that have dry skin, it's one of the ingredients to put in your checklist. You can absolutely use it. It's good for all skin types. But because it acts as a moisture barrier, because it attracts water from the outside environment, it will help your moisture level. So if you have dry skin or sensitive skin, you can use glycerin as an ingredient to help hydrate your skin and protect it against irritation. Again, I don't know, third, fourth time I'm explaining it. If you have sensitive skin, any type of skin types, always do patch tests because as whitening stuff, some people may say that glycerin isn't the best. Honestly, for every conversation I've ever had, when someone is saying like, oh, I can't use it, I can't use glycerin, I'm like, oh, actually, it's just one of some of the ingredients. Have you checked the other ones? You're just scooping glycerin in because it's generally considered a clean and safe ingredient. And I mentioned it's non-comedogenic. So it's one of these like, not holy grail, but not holy grail of ingredients. It's an amazing ingredient that can absolutely be used for all skin types, but it's definitely one that I will recommend for those with sensitive or dry skin and can be really powerful for those with oily because it's all skin types. Gosh, I love this ingredient and we're going to do a whole series on all these different ingredients because ingredients do not lie. And I want to tell you the truth behind some of these ingredients. Of course, you can always do your extra due diligence of research. But we've done a lot of research into this. So my goal is to summarize what we have been finding in all of our conversations and all of our research to share it with you. So if you have dry skin, how you can use glycerin, especially like on your dry and chapped lips, this is going to be one of those ingredients that you're like, thank you. The natural humectant of it means your skin will stay hydrated. So if you have dry skin, you want to attract moisture from the air and trap it within your skin cells, right? You don't want flakiness and you don't want a destroyed skin barrier. If you have if you have dry skin, glycerin's for you. Now, if you have acne-prone skin, heck yes, use it. Glycerin is a great ingredient to address the concerns of acne. A lot of things that we talked about, making your skin stay hydrated, reduce the appearance of blemishes. And when you incorporate it into your skincare routine as an ingredient, it's because we said it's a natural, gentle exfoliator. You're going to remove the dead skin cells that are causing you to break out. Remember, you're not going to the beach with a bikini on top of a fur coat. If you're going to get a tan, you can't wear the fur coat and a bikini and expect to get tan where the fur coat is covering. That's the best way I can explain what dry skin does to your pores. And now if you're not using an exfoliator, it's going to be one of the first places that you're finding out where your breakouts are coming in. So if you have acne-prone skin, the way you can use glycerin is you can either add a few drops specifically to a cotton ball to the affected area, or you use products that have it formulated inside so it's balanced in a way that's safe and effective for your skincare needs. I always recommend with any ingredients, it's best to use a skincare product, especially one that's been dermatologically tested or ones that like have been vetted by organizations that you know, like, and trust. You can apply ingredients directly onto your skin. I'm talking about you, cucumber, but I don't recommend it. Like, it's better to have it formulated. These are created in labs that have safe environments that are following protocols. But yeah, some people will buy the ingredient directly and apply it with a soft, gentle cotton pad. Okay, so what do you do if you have oily skin? Glycerin is a natural remedy for oily skincare because it can keep your skin soft. It can help regulate your sebum production, and it retains your skin from becoming too greasy. No one wants to look like super shiny. You want to maintain oil production. You want it formulated. You want products that are specifically formulated for your skin type. And if you're seeing glycerin as one of the ingredients, if you've got oily skin, great. If you have oily skin and you're looking for like a body wash or a soap, look for soaps that contain at least 50% glycerin. You want to be mindful because it's going to be other ingredients that can wreak havoc, and it's likely not going to be glycerin. So again, if you have sensitive skin, it's a non-irritating, non-comedogenic product. It's not going to aggravate your pores or expand your pores, and it's really good for those with existing sensitivities. But as always, I will never not do the full disclaimer, always do patch tests. But like, look, if you have a sensitive skin, glycerin can be a really gentle product for you that I would totally recommend. Always do a patch test because you never know. You may have an allergic reaction. Some people have oversensitive skin, and it's okay if it's not for you. If you found that glycerin doesn't work for you and you said, please let us know. Like, let me know in the comments, because we want to provide enthusiastically the most amount of information we have found and digest it in a way that you don't have to do all the research that we've been doing. So hopefully, like whatever type of skincare you're using, whatever skin type you have, you're understanding like, wow, glycerin can be a really, really good product. And so now I'm just going to talk about how you can use it really quickly in your routine, and then I'll let you go. So thanks for listening so far. Okay, so how you can use it in your routine. Absolutely, like it is a hydration booster, works for all skin types, and it's a great addition inside your skincare products. So if you're going to use glycerin as an ingredient, or like alone, or if you find it mixed in with other skincare products, like with rose water, hyaluronic acid, you're going to be able to incorporate it into various levels of your routine. So starting off, like you can find it inside a cleanser. It's really good for cleansers, especially because some cleansers might feel like they're drying out your skin. So when you see that a glycerin ingredient in that cleanser that you're using, is a really good ally for you and your dry skin. So you're not like ripping off your natural oils and not finding it to be a harsh cleanser. Because it's hydrating and it won't strip your skin of natural oils, finding glycerin in your cleansers is a really good place to start. 2, it can be in a hydrating toner. There's 3 types of toners that we talk about, at least, right? Like exfoliating, hydrating, and treatment toners. So if you have like glycerin and hyaluronic acid, you're going to have a very hydrating toner. Because it can be used as a toner, it's also going to have like gentle exfoliation properties. So actually, like one of the toners that I use, like this is Sun by Me, the toner. Hold on, showing you the actual one. This is one of the toners that I'll use, especially in summer and spring when I tend to be more oily. This toner contains glycerin. So it is an exfoliating treatment toner, right? It contains AHA, PHAs, right? Like that's going to help really treat my acne when I have breakouts. But I can't use a toner every day that's going to strip me. So like this is when I have like more aggressive breakouts, or when summer and spring when I have oilier skin because I'm in Florida. So this one is the Sun by Me AHA PHA 30 days toner. It comes in this box, right? So I just dropped it from the bottom. But you can also get it in this kit. If you have acne prone skin and you want like a simple routine, you don't know where to start, this has like 4 products in it, and including one of them is the toner that has glycerin. We love it. So it's a really great use to have a hydrating toner, because toners and cleansers can feel like your face is being stripped of any hydration before you even start your skincare routine. So it sometimes feels like you're going 10 steps forward and 20 steps backwards. But that's not been the case with any of the products that we have on Asian Beauty Essentials, because obviously these are like vetted and tested extensively. Okay, so talk about it. Glycerin, where else can be in your routine? Your moisturizers. Obviously, I think if you like were to make this a game count of how many times I've said the word glycerin as hydrating, you would know, obviously, it's going to be great in moisturizers. One of the moisturizers that I'll use again when I'm on the oily side is this one from Cosrx, which it's an oil-free moisturizing lotion. It comes in a box like this, but this is what the solution looks like. It's a really great moisturizer if you have oily skin. That's not like the typical gels. So I'm actually just going to put a little bit on because, I want to show you how much I love this moisturizer. It's not going to get my lips because I have a lip tint on. But so it's really awesome within moisturizer. And this one from Cosrx has the ingredients inside of it. And I'll just show you the box because that's easy to read. Is that working? I don't know. So, you're going to get a lot of moisturizing properties jam-packed, especially when you find them inside your moisturizers. You'll also find glycerin inside like body lotions and not just facial creams. And also like some people will add like an essential oil to glycerin so they can make their own homemade moisturizers. But like if you're making your own homemade moisturizers, amazing. Like let us know what you love about them. Glycerin's a really good ingredient to include it. But again, I defer to buying products that already formulate it for me because someone's invested the time and money and the testing. But we get it. People love to DIY their own skincare. So, hey, do you, baby boo? You'll definitely find them in lip balms because you need your lips to be hydrated. They don't secrete their own oils. So because we don't produce oils on our lips, you need to apply a topical solution. And so if you're looking for something, especially for like deep cracks and old looking lips, you're going to find glycerins in like almost all lip balms. It's also a really good ingredient inside your makeup removers. It's gentle for all skin types. So it's great because it will counter effects of the drying active ingredients that will help lift, especially like waterproof makeup. You'll find them in some mild sunscreens where we talked about being like a protector against environmental factors like pollution or UV rays. Some mild sunscreens will incorporate glycerin as one of their skincare's main ingredients, so it can shield the skin from the sun's harmful rays and prevent sunburn. Of course, always if you're using sunscreen, like you want to be mindful of UVA and UVB. If you're using sunscreen, please look for it to have like not just the SPF level, because that's a sun protection factor, but you also need the PA level, right? You need to have like at least a plus, okay? Right? Like you can go as high as 4. But glycerin will be an ingredient in a lot of the mild sunscreens. And of course, you'll find glycerin inside a face mask. They're used in a lot of face masks, especially clay masks, to keep the skin hydrated. Just think of like the things that you're like, okay, this would assumingly be very drying on my skin. It's going to dehydrate my skin. So if you want to see if it has a glycerin ingredient if it has glycerin as an ingredient to counteract the drying effects, you'll find yourself like, okay, yeah, this is a formulated skincare product that is going to help me achieve what my end desire might be, like addressing acne or like cracked skin. But it's going to keep your skin hydrated, because if you don't have that in corporations, like applying clay to your skin is just going to like be super drying. Like there are certain types of clay that are more drying than others, but when you have it alongside glycerin, it can be a hydrating ingredient to help combat what would be obviously dehydrating ones. So we've talked extensively about how glycerin, like it can be made in a lab, but it's usually made of animal byproducts or plants. People consider it vegan, but I'm telling you, it's mixed use case. There's no definitive answer, because you need to understand, is it a vegetable glycerin or an animal glycerin? Because if it's vegetable, it's made from plant oils, but animal glycerin comes from animal fats, right? Like both types are safe for most people to use on their skin. It's great for all skin types, but you need to default to, if you don't know, assume glycerin is not vegan. It can be vegan, but depending on what your lifestyle preferences are, like, of course, just default to assume that it's not. And then you can DM us, or you can ask this question. Like we'll help you understand if it's if the ingredient is derived from like a coconut oil or a palm oil or soybean oil. But you have to be mindful that while it's derived, because I just mentioned coconut oil and soybean oil, like it's derived from commonly known commodogenic products. Glycerin is not, though. Isn't that so interesting? Like we'll have to do more, because like even like the different properties of derivatives like collagens and peptides, and even like bee byproducts like propolis or bee venom, like it's so interesting. Sorry, I'm gonna nerd out really quickly, but I just want you to know that like default for glycerin, default that it's not vegan. It can be vegan, and it's for all skin types. It can be great for sensitive skin, but you always want to test. Any side effects that you might find yourself with glycerin, depending on the weather, like if you're in drier weather, it can be even more drying, right? So because it extracts water from the outside factors, if you're in a place like Arizona and you're in the desert, there's not a lot of moisture in the air. But if you're in a place like Florida, there is moisture everywhere. So you can pull the moisture from the air and get it inside of your pores and be like, nom, 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 nom. I'm so thirsty. I'm so dehydrated. So you just need to be careful, because if you live in arid climates, in very dry climates, it's not going to have the water to extract from the air. So in some cases, which is why hyaluronic acid is not a good ingredient to have if you're in drier climates, it's like even more hydrating than glycerin. You want to be mindful that if it can't extract from the external, it's going to extract from the internal, and that's not what you want to do. So if you have dry skin and you live in a dry climate, like you don't want glycerin inside. And like this is really important, especially when you're traveling, because people will bring their skincare ingredients and be like, why am I breaking out when I'm traveling? Because you've changed environments. If I'm going to visit my friends in Arizona, I don't bring the same ingredients and products that I use here in Florida. You have to be considerate of where you're going. And like also like in planes can be very dehydrating because the AC is running on and it's going to whip all that moisture from the air. So if you have dry skin, this is just one of the side effects you need to be mindful of. Dry skin in a dry environment, glycerin's not your friend. But if you have dry skin, like I said, and you're in a humid environment like me in Florida, it's really great. It's really also good to use like if your face is still damp or like after bathing and stuff, because it's going to lock in that moisture. which is going to help you go from raisin to crepe. The other thing that like you need to be hypersensitive to is that you could be allergic to it. So again, especially if you have sensitive skin, it's not common, but it's not impossible. You always want to do a patch test. If you have a glycerin allergy, you might experience redness, itching, and swelling. I think I sound like a pharmaceutical commercial. But if you think you're allergic, like obviously stop doing it and see a dermatologist. But you want to be mindful that glycerin isn't like end all be all. Really great for a lot of people, really common in a lot of products. And it can be a really good one, but you want to be always err on the side of caution. If you're looking for a really good ingredient to start with, like I love glycerin in my skincare. One of the things that I'm doing right now is like using this from Ionic, a black snail restore serum. It's really cute because there's also like this like smaller version if you want to start off with. But like black snail, I love snail as an ingredient. It has the glycerin inside of here. It's in hundreds of products. It's really great for moisturizers, night creams, hydrating solutions, and even the ones that are like drying out, right? Like toners and exfoliators. Like you'll find glycerin as a tool in your skincare arsenal. I hope this video was remotely interesting. Hope you learned a lot about glycerin, maybe more than you wanted to. But like glycerin's amazing. Too long, didn't listen, but obviously at the end, maybe skip to the end. It's a humectant, which means it's going to help restore your skin's moisture. It's going to be used to treat dry skin, especially for like eczema and psoriasis. It's non-comedogenic, which means it's not going to cause your pores. It's not going to clog your pores or cause acne. It also translates to being a helpful way to treat acne and draw moisture to the skin to maintain its hydration. And it's hypoallergenic and non-irritating, making a really good choice for those with sensitive skin. But as we said, because it draws moisture from the air, if you're in an arid climate, you need to be overly cautious, especially if you have dry skin, because it may lead to drier skin because you're pulling the moisture and there isn't moisture, so it's pulling from underneath. Because it attracts moisture to the skin, it can dilute sunscreens. So it's only in mild sunscreens. So depending on how much glycerin is in there, you need to be mindful so it doesn't reduce the protectiveness of your sunscreen. That's why you always want to make sure you're covered on UVA and UVB. So look at the PA+++++s and the sun protection factor, your SPF, always over 35. If you're using it as your main one. Maybe some like makes will have smaller ones, and that's complimentive. And like if you have glycerin and you're using a waterproof sunscreen, that like if you're using that can be a way to help protect the dilution, right? And then it's not always vegan. You know, sometimes yes, sometimes no. Check the label to see if it is glycerin from animal or vegetables. It's a clean ingredient. It can be vegan, but defer to it, assuming that it's not. For pregnant women, breastfeeding women, for pregnant women, it's generally considered a safe ingredient. But like this ingredient has been added to a list of ingredients to avoid during pregnancy, including the FDA. So it's, you know, like it's generally considered safe. The FDA currently says like it's something to stay away from when you're expecting, but always and if and ever you can consult like your gynecologist for more specifics. But it is on the FDA avoiding list, but it is generally considered a safe ingredient. Like we've said, like good for all skin types, but it is on the like stay away list from the FDA. It is safe to use while breastfeeding, but it's always a good idea to do the patch test first in case you're more sensitive. Glycerin, because it's derived from natural sources such as plants, or it can be synthetic. It means that this ingredient could be active or inactive depending on the product. It is non-comedogenic, aka it's not pore clogging. If you ever know about the Environmental Working Group score, the EWG, it's got a score of 0, which means it poses no health risks from the EWG scores. And then the Cosmetic Ingredient Review has an A rating. So it means that it's safe for use inside skincare. So yeah, that's glycerin is good for like all skin types and like definitely great if you have oily or acne prone skin because it's going to regulate your oil production. And if you have dry skin, and especially in like a humid environment, it's going to help grab that moisture from the air and give it to your face. So yeah, thanks so much and have a great rest of your day. If this was helpful information to you, please let us know in the comments. We've got tons of stuff coming. This was our first one. So hopefully this live went well. Thanks. Now time to figure out how to stop. Ha ha ha.